Okay, so welcome to a strange kind of Morrowind play. It will be more a Morrowind modding this time, because what I want to do is try to do something more construction set related and show you something a little difficult, and that is involving and uh, all my tools and my way of working with mods. And the purpose of this is officially to try and make an interesting mod compatible with the rest of my modded Morrowind setup. And doing so, I think I will explore a lot of tools and techniques and the way you can try and do this for your loading list, or to try and tweak mods when you find problems or you want to change something by yourself. I think it could be interesting. And well, if you're only looking for some kind of let's play, well, this will not related to this. It will be mainly construction set and other tools for modding. So this is what I want to do now. Well, let's start with it. And what I want to try to do is get this interesting mod, which I already talked about it. It is called let me check for it. I think I just looked at it in browser, so probably it is one of the it is one of the latest pages I have seen, so I think this one. Okay, so this is the mod. It is called Edwina's Rest. It's a big quest mode, interesting, but involving several places where it's conflicting with my Morrowind setup. So, well, first thing first, where can you find this mod? You can find it in the Morrowind modding history site, which is where you can look for older mods which are not on the Nexus. And I suggest you just use the internal search panel and just look for what you're interested in this keyword field. I know the name of the mod already, so it's easier for me. I will search, and as you can see, the search, well, when the site is search is working, it works very well, I'd say. You have also some way to refine your search here, but sometimes the site is not working, but all in all it is almost working. So this is a very important site for Morrowind modding, because it has the great majority of older mods, mods that were in the Planet Elder Scrolls site and other sites. So you can find a lot of that those mods here. And anyway, let's download this. I will first take a look at the descriptions, which is more or less the README. So, mod by Gilgamesh, an old modder, and we have description, bugs, and so on. So what we will try to do is download the mod, look for first thing to clean it with modern tools we have and that were probably not available at the time this mod was first published, and then try to tweak it to be compatible. So let's download it. Okay, so I have a folder where I usually download things. So I will extract the content of the mod. I already downloaded it before, but this is the current version. And I'm using as tool to ease my file managing, which I really suggest you do. Get yourself an orthodox file manager. Let's see what it means. Oh, we will look in Wikipedia. File managers. So basically, to manage tools to manage files and folder, and you can read this to have details, but in short it means a file manager where you have at least a couple of windows opens in showing what can be different folders, so it is easier. These tools are done essentially to make easier to move, compare, copy files and directories between different folders. Folders and directories are the same things. And why? And this is interesting because if you're working under Windows, but I think also in standard Linux and similar different operative system, you usually open a window at a time. You can open several windows, but they are still separated windows with files, so there is not a common interface to do some kind of operation easily comparing to different folders. So these tools have a very old story. The first ones were done before some graphic operating systems were done, and well, they are widely used when you have to work with files, and when you are modding you have to work with a lot of files, so that's good to have one. To cut a long story short, I suggest you try and use, for instance, this nice tool, which is Double Commander, which is free, and you can find it in source files. This is open source. Or another nice similar tool is called Total Commander. And this one is a shareware tool. It means if you want the complete version, you should pay the author price he's requesting. It's a very powerful tool, very well developed, because it has it is a very mature product. But if you don't want to pay, you can still use it. The one restriction in the shareware version is that you have a starting a window and you have to push a button when you start it, so that you can still use it even if you decide it is not worth paying the author for it. But it is working 100%. The one thing is you have these small windows at the start that you must click. Okay, so for now I will just use the double commander, which is the open source version. They are similar. The double commander is more recent, and basically the main difference is when you compare files, total commander is more powerful. You can do more operation automatically after having compared the different folders. But for the rest, I think total the double commander is very near, and so it's good. It's a good tool. For now, we will just use it. So I have opened, decompressed the archive of the mod from the zip format to this folder, and I will take a look at the various readmes which are in doc format, which I don't like for mods because it takes forever for this document to be opened with big tools like the Open Office or something like this. You can open with other smaller programs, but all in all I think doc format is not good for mod documentation. It is much better to use pure text or HTML or even RTF format, because they are simple to read and faster to read. Anyway, we have various notes by the model, but it's interesting, especially this hint guide here. But first thing first, I want to technically test this mod with the tools that I know, and that probably tools which the modder did not have available. So I know I will discover more problems than the modder himself could have figured at the time. And also I'm interested in changing the format of these documents to be more compatible with also with Mesh, which is the tool which I use and most people use to managing Morrowind mods, and for a reason, because it's the most powerful dedicated tool to do this. So what I want to do is convert this documentation in a way that is more compatible to my standard way of managing things with Mesh. So what I want to do is put all these documents, this README information, all together in a single README and save it as text format and maybe HTML format, so it's easier to load and see that documentation directly from Mesh. So we will just do this, and I will load this one, which seems to be very small. So to open this, I'm using OpenOffice, which is an open source compatible with Office pack of programs that you can find online for free. And as you can see, this is sort of a recommendation for webmasters hosting the mod with even the address of the modder, which I don't think it's a good idea to post to the internet nowadays. Anyway, so I will just remove this address because I think it's better this way. Don't like a physical address for people. Anyway, I will just copy, Control A key, sorry, Control C, I think, or I can just look for the command copy here, and then I will open the other. I will just drag and drop them. Let me see if it works. It doesn't work because this program is not really smart, but they should be opened like different documents this way. So this is the hint guide, and I think I will just save this as big document in format. I will save it like text, pure text first. And like HTML. So save as HTML. Okay. Oh, I saved it in another folder. Let me check. Oh yes. So what I'm going to do is copy paste the various text modes, and at the end have, because I just did this thing already, so I will cut a long story short and let you see the final result, because it's very easy. Copy and paste you can do, and save as text HTML. So I have put all the three files in one single file in text version, which is this one, and in HTML version. The HTML version is more or less keeping the formatting that the author did, but in a way that's compatible with how Mesh can display it. So I will put both of these documentation in a folder called docs, which is also the standard that Mesh is suggesting you use inside your data files. A docs folder with the name of the mod before the readme. So don't use just readme as name of your documentation file, because then you will have hundreds of readmes when people use your mod, and they will always have to rename the readme because it's impossible to use it if you don't give it a name so you can relate it to the proper mod. So good habit is to give the readme the same name as the ESP file, for instance, that you are loading. So for instance, we have Arduino list readme .txt and Arduino list readme.html. So two versions easily related to the proper mode. And then we have the mode ESP. This mode has no resources. It is just readmes and the ESP. So I will just close this thing, and I will copy the latest one I have downloaded over this one, so I'm sure it is the same. And I'm trying to see if what's going on. I'm trying to in short, I'm trying to make an old mode compatible and clean with my big Morrowind world. So I'm going to use the construction set a lot and other tools to show you how you can clean and fix a mod and move it to be compatible with your Morrowind installation. Morrowind is not still loaded because I'm working with the construction set in a short time, and I don't know if we will even start Morrowind the game in this streaming. I think I will use a lot of tools, but not specifically the game. So if you are looking for a playthrough, I'm not going to do this now. I'm going to mod the game. So I'm using a lot of modding tools, but not specifically the Morrowind game. And okay, so we have our documentation in a more proper format for mesh, and we have our mod which we want to fix and include hopefully in our Morrowind game world. And I think we can just start talking about tools we can use. So we have this big Morrowind world. When you're done, I have no idea. It could take hours to do the work like this one. I will stop after a while. I will start doing this because I had people asking to show how to do this thing, but it's a work that could require even hours, because this is a particularly difficult mode to move, because there are several changes to the game world in different places which are conflicting with a lot of different modes. So it is not something you can do with one click, but it's very interesting because to do something like this you have to do to learn how to use several modding tools. So I think it's interesting for people interested in how to mod the game. And if not, well, it will be probably something I don't do often, because I know it's not interesting for people looking for just playing the game. Anyway, for now I'm doing this. So, well, we have our mod ready here, so we just copy it to my Morrowind folder so we can take a look at it. I will just copy the two folders inside. And I say yes to override because I have the mod already, so I should have the files here. I will start mesh, which is the tool we use to manage the loading order and most of the thing we do with our Morrowind setup. So I'm looking for the mod which is called Adwina Rest, and here it is. So as you can see, it's a big mod by Gilgamesh. We have some word by the author in the comment here. But first thing first, we have several tools which allow us to check if the mod is clean, if it has location and game settings which can conflict with the rest of our loading order and cause problems. We have some tools that can clean the mod automatically, which I really suggest you learn how to use if you are into modding this game, because it's very easy that you will find especially older mods that are not cleaned, and so it is always a good thing to try and clean the mods you are going to use. So in this case I will use two tools which are my standard procedure to clean the mods automatically. The first one is test-free command and the second one is the test tool. So test-free command is a command line tool that you can use from the command line. For instance, you can open the folders, and I'm using this from this double commander. I can use run terminal, and then I can test-free command, for instance, and give some command here. But if you have a version of mesh, especially if you have this version of a similar version, executable version by a maker, I think, or one by Jacobi. There are several versions which are an executable version which already have the test-free command clean included. So if you have a test-free command executable put inside your data files folder, you already can start test-free command clean from mesh. So you don't have to use DOS command, console, and so on. It's very easy to do. And in my case, I'm using the source version of mesh by default. So what I did is made a personal menu option here inside the file option, where I do more or less the same things. I call test-free command clean with these settings for the selected files in mesh. But more or less it's the same exact thing that you can do from different versions of mesh. So what we are we are going to do is call test-free command with the clean set parameters and clean the mode we are trying to set up. So I will look for it. Arduino. I have tons of mode here. Okay, so I will select it with this blue background, and then I will use my command here, which is here, task-free command clean. And so what happens is task-free command in the background is cleaning the mode, and as you can see there are tons of things to clean because this is an old mode which has been done when these tools were not available, and also these problems with things to clean were not so well known or even not yet discovered. And so we have tons of things cleaned and duplicated things and empty cells and game settings that should not be duplicated because they can cause problems, and so on. And this usually is able to clean 19% of things to clean, but sometimes it doesn't clean everything possible, so I use also test tool as second step for cleaning the mode. So test tool is another very powerful tool for modding. The one thing you must pay attention with test tool is not to use this button, because it will try to automatically clean all your loaded mods, and sometimes this can be very risky because some mods may have some settings which are not recognized by this cleaning routine of test tool, so it is better not to use it. But you can very safely clean a single or over a couple of mods at a time using this option, which is clean ESP ESM files. So I will just select this and execute, and test tool will ask me to visit the option dialog, and I say yes, and here I set my option how I want to clean the things, and my settings, my suggested settings, you can find them described in detail in my site, in my articles about this tool, but in short I suggest you keep the first two options checked, don't change plugin file names, and retain file time. All the rest you can keep them not checked, because these are things that you will never use, because you will always have these two standard Bethesda expansion loaded probably. This is not so useful, so this is not so useful, this is really rarely used. So the two options you may want to sometimes use are this one. If you are not sure, you have some old mods which is using some empty cell to put things instead of deleting them. It's very rare, not something that it's easy to find, but there could be some mod like this. So you could, to be 100% sure this kind of mods are not give not problems with test tool cleaning, you can use this. And this is this one for the problem with cell, and the same problem you can have with mods which are using dialogue not in a proper way. Sometimes cleaning with test tool will cause problem with those modes, and so you may want to do this to be absolutely safe that no modes are touched. But this is something I'm not quite fond of, because if one of these options unchecked is causing problem with one of your mods, it means that that mod is not done right. For instance, this means that that cell is empty while it should have at least one piece of static to tell the game that the cell is used for something useful, so also other tools as cleaning tools can know it. And this especially is something that is a sign that the modder did the dialogue in the wrong way. Instead of changing a new dialogue line, it changed the original line, and this is a mistake that oftentimes modders do while editing dialogue. Editing the original dialogue line should be something that you do only if you are very sure about doing it, and you definitely should not do it while adding new dialogue lines. But oftentimes, as the two lines you add are the same, because you usually copy the previous line and then change it, but it is very easy to edit the original line instead of the new one by mistake. So if you keep this thing not checked and you have problems with that mod after cleaning, it means that the mod is not well done. So I don't know if it is better to know about a problem or to have the problem and ignoring it. I keep playing with that kind of mod. Anyway, having said that, these are my settings which I use for cleaning mods, and this is I suggest to use if you are I will say an expert mod user. You doesn't have to be a mod maker, but I would say a mod user which knows how to use mesh for common operations and so on. Anyway, I'm going to clean the mod now that I have my setting ready, so I will search for the mod here and open it, and here is my test tool. And as you can see, test tool has found other things to clean in the mod which test3 command did not find, and specifically test tool is cleaning some dialogue entries which are not really necessary. And an interesting thing about this tool is you can just look at the log and see what exactly this tool did. File is called test tool log and is in the same folder where your Morrowind main file is, and as you can see, name of the file, processed, and what did test tool do. Deleted door which was duplicated, and checked a lot of cells and deleted this one because it was empty. Same with this one, was empty, and so on. You have the changes, and then deleted some dialogue info which can be can be done on the fly by the game engine, so this is not necessary to be duplicated in the mod. So all in all, these two tools when run can clean 99% of any mod you can use with them, and this is in a totally automatic and in a way that you can repeat each time you edit the mod, and this is very important while cleaning mods and fixing mod, because oftentimes you have to edit a mod a lot of times and it's very hard to do a complete cleaning by hand using other tools where every single change and fix you have to select and do by hand, like the enchanted editor or design. These tools clean automatically, and this is a great plus in my opinion if you mod a lot. So if you are a mod maker, remember, before publishing your mod, clean your mod with at least one of these automatic tools. I suggest to use both. And if you are a mod user, before adding the mod to your game, learn how to use this tool to clean the mod you just downloaded, because the more modern the mod is, the more likely is to be already clean. It also depends a lot on the modder who did the mod, how experienced is the modder who did the mod, but it is always good to check yourself if the mod is clean before adding to your precious loading list. So now that we are sure the mod is cleaned from crap, in short, from things that are not necessary or that can cause problem, we can see if this mod is going to conflict with the rest of our loading list. And this is very important because this cannot be really detected automatically. You can just look at the cells and decide in construction set or similar tools what kind of conflict and how to solve them. But there are still very powerful tools available to make this checking a lot easier. And now we are going to see how to use them. So first thing first, we can, I think this is it depends how long and how complicated is your modding list. I want to show you my loading list area. I think I have a link here somewhere in my... Oh, okay, so this is the map, more or less my currently exterior loading list map. So as you can see, I have the usual time rebuild and a lot of other mods
Day 5.
around.
I delivered the package to Zarin Ham event.
Let me stop. And so I have a lot of landmass mod which I have moved to be compatible each other and with other big landmass mods. So how did I do this? With the same tools I'm going to use to try and do the same thing with this mod that I'm going to edit. But as you can see, this is one thing I have done a lot to be able to have all these modes not overlapping each other, and also to be inside this expanded standard Morrowind map, which is not so big, so you have to make things fit together if you want to use several mods, and oftentimes move mods from their original position, because this way I can use and see the wall map of every mod that I'm using. So what I'm going to do now is to check, use some tool to try and check if this new mod is conflicting with any of this landmass mod which I have in my loading list. How can I do this in a fast way? Well, it's not so easy, because there are tools where you can easily see a single mod or a couple of mods and where the landmass is. But think about this, I have hundreds of mods loaded. I should select all these small landmass mods and load them one after the other, so it's a little long. My suggestion is, with a little task-free command magic, we can generate a single walled mod containing all the landmass cells included in your loading order, and load that mod in a tool which is displaying all this cell, and this will make much easier to compare, to visually compare where the problems are. So I'm going to do something like this and teach you how to do something like this with task-free command. So I'm assuming you have task-free command inside your Morrowind data file folder for this. So I'm opening this. Why don't you start already? I have already started what I was going to do. I'm not going... Oh, I'm already doing the moving last... Yes, I'm doing this right now. I'm showing what is the current state of my Morrowind wall, which is more or less this one, and now I'm going to show you how to generate a wall mod with only the landmass in your loading list, and then to compare that one and find the conflicts with the mod you are going to fix and move to be compatible with the rest of the landmass. This is the plan. So what I want to do is have the latest alpha version of task-free command in my data files folder. Okay, so we start really working. You did not. I still have to really start working on it. It was a sort of introduction about what I want to do and why I'm doing things this way. Basically what I did for now is just clean the mod with task-free command and test tool. What I'm now doing really is trying to find conflicting with the rest of the landmass I'm using in my loading list. So for doing this I'm using task-free command, and I recommend using the latest alpha version of task-free command because it has some new feature which is very useful, which is, well, let's try and get it. I think could be this one. Code mirror for, so probably it is on GitHub. Okay, so this is in GitHub MROX, which is another tool by John Moonsugar, and inside this repository there's the latest alpha version of test-free command. I think it is here, probably, yes. So I'm looking for an executable version. That maybe is not here. Let me see if I have a different link. Because I see there's the source version here. So I will look on my site for mod cleaning. That's free command. Let me check if I have a link. Oh, it's still the old version, yeah. Because recently our Google code has been moved. Let me check. I fear you have to go to the forums to find the proper link to the executable version of test-free command. I'm looking for a link. Oh, here it is. The old forums by Bethesda. And I'm looking for the latest test-free command tool. It's hard to find things here because the search. Oh, probably here it is. So your best option probably is to look for in the old Bethesda forum, which are read-only now, but there is still the latest thread by the author of test-free command, which is releasing the version, the alpha version, which we need. And here is the link to the executable version. So it's a little hard to find it. I think I will put some link in my site also, and because this is very useful. You have the executable version here, and this is the version I am using to generate my world landmass plugin. So this is the one you should download and put. I just renamed it to task free command 40.exe because I can keep the older version which I use for other tasks and this new version one. So in my folder I have this free command, the executable version, where it is, and this is task-free-command.exe is the older version, and this version called 40 here are the last one. So I will use this one for more modern commands which are involving all mods in my loading list, while for different things I may want to use the older version, which is how can I say it? It is more mature, less experimental, and so it is safer to use to doing things on a mod at a time. So in short, what I suggest is, if you are going to do some operation with your mods involving all your loading list, use the very new version, the alpha version, because it has a parameter, the active parameter, that you can use to do automatically something on all your mod loading list. And also use this latest version of task-free command if you are going to generate your merged leveled list with task-free command, because one of the latest changes that John Sugar did with this version, with this latest version, we just have seen the pre-release version, is to improve how the generated merged level list is done. So repeating this, I suggest you use this version of task-free command if you are going to do something with all your loaded mods, or if you're going to generate the leveled list merged, which is usually called merged leveled list, I think. Oh no, sorry. It is called merged list if you generate it with mesh or similar tools, but if you use task-free command, it is called multi-patch, and is including the merged level of the list and other fixes done by task-free command. So task-free command multi-patch is the most advanced leveled list merger, and also it solves other problems which are very important. If you have a big loading list, it automatically will fix cells which are renamed between mods, and this may happen especially if you use mods like time rebuild or other mods which change a lot of wilderness cells, and this multi-patch generated by task-free command will automatically fix these problems when, for instance, time rebuild is renaming a wilderness cell like, for instance, Helnim, because they build a new city where there was only wilderness, and then you have another mode which is for instance changing that wilderness cell and renaming it back to wilderness, just because that mode is for instance disallowing you to sleep there, like the BTB mode tend to do. So you have a conflict, because if the BTB mode is loaded after timer rebuild, what happens? That the name of the cell is no more Helnim, and timer rebuild dialog filters are not working anymore. And this multi-patch generated by test-free command can solve this problem automatically, renaming correctly the cell, so timer rebuild can still work together with for instance the BTB change to the same cell. So it's very important to use this tool because it's powerful. And the latest version, the pre-release 40, released in this thread on the old forums, is where you can get this latest version of test-free command. So we are using this version 40 here to generate this thing, which is a single mod which will contain just my huge Morrowind world. Because then, with this single mod, it will be much easier for me to find conflict with all my loading list landmass. So how am I going to do this? Well, I must use a test-free command giving proper parameters to it, so it can generate this plugin. You can just open the usual DOS console command and terminal and give the command by hand, but I really suggest you really make a text file, a bat file, where you write all the commands you give to this tool, because oftentimes you will use similar commands. You will repeat things you have done in the past, and the more you use it and the more you will have some sort of library of test-free command lines which you can adapt, use, find inspiration of things you have already done, similar things, and so on. And this will not only increase the speed at which you can learn and how to use it, but also it will help a lot instead of having every time to look for the syntax and examples how to use it. So what I have is a test-free command test.bat, I think, something like this. Let me write it. So I have this file which I call test-free command test, which, as you can see, is just a single simple batch file with command which I can just write in the console, but I keep using them and then I comment them, but I keep all them still in this file. So when I have to look for a similar thing, which I have already done, it's all here, and I have a lot of examples, because this tool is very, very powerful and can do a lot of things, but like every command line tools, it's hard to have all the syntax in your mind automatically. So having example really helps. And what I'm going to do is use this command. So I'm using the latest task-free command version. Oh, I know it's hard to absorb. It's not really simple, but I assure you this is something hard to find because it's I dare say advanced use of this tool. So hopefully the final video will be also less choppy that my streaming quality as usual. And so I think this video will be something you can digest slowly, but it will be useful if you want to try to do something like this yourself. Okay, so what I'm going to do is use this new version of task-free command with the dump command, which means task-free command will generate something, which can be some text, or can be with this, for instance, with this subcommand, a proper plugin as output. So what I'm going to do is tell task-free command to generate this plugin called abot world, containing all the exterior cells and yes, that's true, and it's very useful for me also because I can understand in this case, especially when I'm talking about moderately, not moderately, I think almost difficult things for people which don't do these things often, and it's easier for me to understand when I have to try to explain something better, or when I can go on with things. So it's very useful if you write actually what you need to be explained more clearly. But I understand that this is going to be long and hard to follow. So feel free to do it when the video is done and when you have time to do it. So see you soon, hopefully. And I think I will go on with this command for now. So I'm going to generate this big plugin with all my cell data and land data for all my active plugins, which means all the plugins I'm loading in my current playthrough, which are a lot. So, and this is the command I'm using. Because each and every line of previous command I've used with this rem starting, it means this line is a remark, which means it's a comment. So it will be just skipped by the console, and it is here for me to ease things the next times I will try to do something similar. So I have all my history of previous times I've used task-free command. But what is really going to be executed now is just this line, which I'm using now. So this line will hopefully generate this big abot world plugin containing only my current loaded landmass and cell data for the exterior cells of all the mods I'm loading. And we can save this and try to see if the thing is working. So I have this task-free command test.bat, which is a text file giving test3common what it has to do. I will double click it and start it and see if things work. And in theory it should be generating this big, very big landmass file. And while I'm just generating landmass and cells and not everything else, first because this is faster, and second because this way the mod is big, but not so big as to containing all the data from the mods. So it is still manageable by other tools. And also it contains only the information which I need to know. What cells are used. I'm interested in that thing alone. And while the test3common tool is working his magic, oh, it's down. I have no message here, so let's see if we have this new abot world ready. I will look at it just here, and we have this abot world generated. Which, as you can see, is a very big plugin, which is very big, but still manageable by other tools that you're going to use. So I did this new mod with all these landmass cells, and how can I use it? And here we are with another very useful tool we will use to take a look at this landmass conflict. The tool is called test sharp, and you can find it I think still at the Morrowind modding history, but probably let me check here. Search test sharp, but probably the best place where you can look for it is the site of the author. Let me check, which should be I will look in my site because I know I have links for it. Morrowind modding tools, probably. Oh, this is one. So there are two tools with similar names. There's test and test sharp. The test sharp is a graphical tool and should be here. Lightwave site. You can find the links on my site and other places, but probably no. This is test fight. I'm looking for test sharp. I don't remember who is the author. So Lightwaves is the author of test fight and other tools which we need to work. But what I'm looking for is test sharp download link. Here I have this under tools for modding. I have not a very good tagging here available, so sometimes I'm in doubt where to put links. Oh, this is this version. It's strange I don't have a link with this tool, because let me try as fade sharp. Found some link. Oh, finally, here it is. So the author of this tool, that's Fade Sharp, is Timesleep. So you can look for this site. You write on Google Timesleep Morrowind, that's Fade Sharp. You should be able to find it, or you can just look here. You write test Fade Sharp in my site, and you should be able to find a link to it somewhere, because I try to link things when I talk about them. Anyway, download this thing. Where is it? Okay, so that's Fade Sharp. It's this version. It requires .NET, an old .NET version, but it's absolutely useful tool. So I really suggest you, if you're going to try and move some mod, get this tool. Get test fade, but get also test fade sharp, because it is a visual tool that will help a lot with this. So we can download this. I have it already, so I will let you download it and put it inside your preferred location. You can put it anywhere. It is not necessary to put it inside the Morrowind data files or Morrowind folder, but when you have it in your computer, you can start it. And I have a link here. And this program is giving you a big grid, cell grid, where you can do a couple of things. You can open a mod, which you can then process and move similarly to test fade, but I use it mostly to load a mod and load other mods to compare where they conflict and where I can move things in a visual way to solve this conflict. So what we are going to do is we will load as an overlay our big abot world, including all the landmass I'm using in my current big loading list, and then we will load or open as a mod the new mod that I want to make working together with all these other big landmass mods. So first thing, I will click the overlay plugin and look for this big abot world mod, which I just generated, but I called it this way. Obviously you can choose a different name if you generate something similar. And here it is. As you can see, this is showing me I can move around this big landmass, but this is all the landmass I'm using in my current loading list. So you can imagine I have the single cells, the name of the mod, abot world, and so on. But this way I can see exactly what are the cells that I have still free and what are the cells that I have already used by my loading list. And then I open the mod that I want to fit here, and here are the cells. The green cells are the cells that my mod is using. So I have a very easily checked way of finding the actual conflict in a visual way. And this will be very useful when we will use test fate, not the test fate shop, but the test fate, to try and move these parts of the mod in a place where there are no conflicts. For instance, I could try to move this part of the mod here, and this part I can try moving it here, and so on. And as I already told you before, this mod is particularly difficult to fix because this probably are cells in standard Wanderfare that could be fixed in some way, but probably these are not. These are not easily fixed, so some part could be fixed, probably just removing landscape changes and moving some things here and there. But this part, for instance, it will probably hard to keep here and just moving things nearby. It will be easier to just move the entire modding landscape in another empty area. So that's why I wanted my big generated Morrowind world to see easily where problems are. Okay, and this is the first tool, visual tool we can use to find conflicts. The second important one, maybe even more important, it is called Test Conflict Detector. And usually it's called Test CD. And this is another tool you can find linked, I think, in my site. And it is usually called Test PCD. So it's using the acronym, but it seems it's easier to find it just writing detector. Let me check here. I have it in this article about Morrowind specific tools, probably. Oh, here it is. Test plugin conflict detector. Great tool for finding conflicts and test face shop. Okay, so you can find it in the Morrowind modding history site. You write conflict detector, or well, let's try detector. Detector. Not here, but here. Detector. And here it is. Get the latest one, which should be this one, I think. Version 0.31. And you download it. And I think this is better put in the Morrowind folder, not the data files folder. Anyway, when you have it, you just start it. And this is the best tool to find and described conflict between mods. It's very great. In theory, it can also clean mods, but I suggest you don't use it to do this thing, because it can severely damage certain mods in my experience. Specifically, if you have mods that are using global variables to exchange information between different mods, because you can use them this way. You can have a global variables defined in some mod, and you can define the same global variables in another mod and compare the values of that variables and see if the original mod changed that value. It means that the mod is loaded and so on. So it's a very powerful way to make different mods interact each other. So it's very common that different mods have the same global variable defined. It's not an error, it's not a dirty mod. It means that mods are made to communicate each other. But this tool doesn't understand this. If this tool find a global variable defined in a master mod and in a dependent mod, it will clean the global variables from the dependent mods and it will break all of them. So pay very attention when you try to clean mods automatically using this tool, because this thing may happen. It happened to me once. I took a lot of time to understand how the hell it happened, but I realized that it had been this tool. So having said that, this is still a powerful tool, a must-have tool when you are looking for conflicts between mods. And now we see how we can do it in an easy way, and I'd say almost automatic way, with a very few clicks and very few operations. So the important thing is put this tool in your main Morrowind folder, where the Morrowind executable file is. So for instance, I have it here. Where it is? Here it is. And an important thing for this tool to work is you must have mods loaded. If you don't have any mods selected to load, the tool will not work, because the tool is expecting to have your loading list filled with something. I say this because sometimes you disable some mods or even all the mods temporarily, and then you think, oh, this tool is not working anymore. No, it's because it needs your loading list filled with something. Anyway, we are already having this big loading list, so no problem at all. So what can I do with this tool? Well, I can just click the file menu option and select choose active plugins, and the tool will automatically load all my ESP plugins which I have currently loaded. So what the tool is going to do automatically is check for conflicts with all the dependent plugins, the ESP plugins. If you want to check for conflicts with other masters, you have to specifically add them. But usually this is not really necessary, because if a master is included in this plugin, it will be checked automatically by the tool. So what we want to actually do is, I will do a new check just to make things clear. So it's as simple as this: File, choose active plugins, and we have the list of all our loaded ESP mods, and then check type, single versus, and as master plugin we select the one plugin that we want to check for conflict, which is the new plugin we just cleaned, which is called Arduino's Rest, and we select it. Oh, so cool! I thank you because it's really cool if you are into modding this game. We have these powerful tools that oftentimes are not so well known. Okay, so well, there are probably powerful utility, but it's true that Morrowind history is very long, so there are powerful tools. There are even old powerful tools that are not really well known nowadays, because other tools have been done which are powerful, but maybe some old tool is still the one doing some particular things that newer tools or more recent tools are not doing. So for instance, this is one of them, this plugin conflict detector, which is doing this job of finding the conflicts very, very well. So we will just see it working now. So we have all these ESP mods in my loading order, automatically loaded, and then we just selected this new one, which we want to check for problems, for conflicts with the other mods, and we just start the tool and see what we can find. It will take a while because there are many. And so, as you can see, we have the list of the possible conflicts found. For example, we have, I suggest it should be already by default like this, but anyway, click the column header and sort things by identifier, by the type of record. And we can start here from dialog possible conflicts. So we have the identifiers of the dialog line, we have the name of the mode that is overwriting the other mode, and in this case we have the original line in Morrowind, this dialog line, and it is telling me that this mode, my gameplay mode, is editing the same dialog text line as as this mode. And we can double click the entry and take a look at what the changes are. And we can see easily that what really changed. We can also compare this with the original Morrowind entry, so we can realize what the mods are doing. For instance, this is the original Morrowind, and all in all there are not big differences between this one and for instance the editing that I did in this mod. The one difference is I added a start combat player to enforce starting of the combat, while in standard Morrowind there is no start combat, so in practice it means these flee settings for the NPC will probably start, but after some seconds, because the NPC will not react immediately to this change of his flee EI setting, while adding this command right after will make the NPC react and start combat the player, but then it means as his flee value is high, it should run away from the player immediately after exiting dialogue. So this is the change which this mod is doing. And then we have the change that this new Arduino's REST mod is doing. And what is this change? We see a delete. That means that this line is just deleted. So you judge where is the correct or the better change you want to keep, but in my opinion, deleting original game lines is something that you should nearly never do, because it is a perfect way to cause problems and incompatibilities. If you want to disable a certain dialogue line, it is much better to filter it than to delete it, because other mods may want to change this line, and if they don't find it, it can cause worse problems. So in this particular case, we could just look at the mod and why is the mod deleting this line? Is there a reason? I don't think so, but we can look at it. So how can we do this? Oh, we can see this an hexadecimal view, but that's not really helpful. In reality, the best way to judge these things is always using the construction set to have an idea of the meaning of such changes, and judge if this change is important or is simply a mistake by the mod author who just deleted this line for no good reason, or not thinking about possible conflicts with other mods. So in my opinion, it's more likely it's something like this, but we will just open the mod with the construction set finally and take a look at that line. So to find that line, first I think I will use I can use two things. I can look for this text, for instance, or I can look in a more precisely way for the code of the dialog line, which is this identifier, which is a very big number, which is hopefully unique for this dialog information line. So I will this operation is sometimes tricky to do with this program, but usually if you click this cell in this grid and you click a couple of times and then you press the Ctrl+C to copy this information, you then are able to paste it in other Windows programs. So for instance, I will just paste this information in the Find Text option in the construction set, like this, pressing the Ctrl+V, and here is my code, which should be allow me to find the exact dialog line where this change is done. And here it is. So I'm looking for a greeting to with this text. It is much easier now to find it in the dialogue because I have not only the text but especially the part of the dialogue, the kind of dialogue I'm looking for, which is the greeting to. And so I'm looking for a greeting to with this text. Sadly, the construction set does not allow to double click here and find automatically the entry, like for instance MW edit oftentimes allow you to do, but it's still helpful because I can also keep this window open for reference while I open the dialog window. So I'm looking for the greeting to section, and for this, no, a vampire, that should be somewhere. And as you can see, all these deleted entries are here, and really I don't think that's a good thing because they are deleted for no reason, in my opinion. And anyway, and this is not the proper way to disallow some part of dialogue. So what now that I see this, I think this mod is deleting these entries for not important reason, and this could be discarded. All these changes could be discarded for good. This is my opinion, but generally you have to judge yourself these things if you want to change something in a mod, because these are not real conflicts that are guaranteed to cause problems, but it is most likely that they will if you use a lot of mods. So my suggestion is things like this, when you have some dialogue topic simply deleted, well, not something good, not something that a modern modder should do in their mods. Because if you want to remove this line, proper way is filter it here, putting some impossible condition to be true, or better than this is to just put another entry before the original one and work with that one, filter that one. Don't touch the original game lines if you really have another way to do the same thing. So what I'm going to do is remove this deleted line, these changes, but I don't want to delete the deleted line. I want to make these changes completely ignored by the construction set. And I think the same I will probably do for all this conflicting where something is deleted. So I will open also this one. As you can see, deleted. Oh, this one is not deleted, but well, this is another one. But there are several deleted, probably. Oh, now another deleted, 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 and so on. So, in short, what I'm going to do is remove these deleted lines so they are not touched by the mod. How can I do this? In my opinion, when you can do something from the construction set, do it from there, because this is a standard Bethesda tool. It has arrows, because it will generate some dirty things, not needed information. It will save cells and things which you do not change yourself every time you save, but these are all things that can be cleaned by other tools easily in an automatic way. While the big advantage of the construction set compared to other tools is that it's the standard, so it is the better tool still to change related things. So for instance, if I remove one object, automatically all cells using that object are updated to not use it anymore, and so on. So it is this relationship between different parts of the mod that the construction set is able to keep working in a proper way, and I think that it does it in a better way than other tools which are less developed, like for instance the Enchanted Editor or even MW Edit and so on. So my suggestion is, whenever you can do something well from the construction set, do it from the construction set. In this case, I want to clean this deleted state from this line. How can I do it? Things like this are well done from the construction set mod detail editing window, which is another thing that not everybody knows about the construction set, but it's very important for cleaning mods from the construction set, because certain things are not automatically cleaned by the other tools, and must be something you do by hand, and doing it from the construction set is a very safe way, in my opinion. So we will do this from here. And where is this window? Well, you have to open the usual data files loading window, and then you select the mod you're going to. Oh, another things, I'm going also to check another particular mod which is called we have a questions, like if I'm using Rebirth and want to see which mod is causing that building to be lowered too much, or an NPC to be sitting and missing his chair. Well, I think the tool, the test conflict detector, will help with the first problem. So you will probably be able to see, for instance, if a building is lowered too much, you mean that the landscape around is too high. You can see a landscape conflict with the test plugin conflict detector. The NPC not sitting in his chair can be more tricky to detect, because usually that's a problem with the mesh. It could be something you can detect. For instance, I think this happens mostly with mods like the MCA addition, adding NPC using sitting animation, sitting on the other stools in bars and so on. And the problem is to be able to sit well, the stool must have no collision enabled, because if there's some collision on the stool, the NPC is not able to sit well, even if the animation is the correct one. So how does the mod work? The mod is replacing the usual stools with a different model stool, which no collision enable. And what happens is, when you update mods, the typical problem is when time rebuild update the master version, if you don't use an update using the mesh updaters procedure, your references are not working anymore. So what was a new references to the new tools with no collision is not working anymore. So MCA plugin adding to time rebuild, sitting people will find the old version, the original version of the stool with collision enabled, and the NPC will not be able to sit anymore. That's usually what the problem is. So in this case, the plugin conflict detector is not very useful, because it is perfectly normal that that mod was changing that cell and changing that stool. It is not something not done or on purpose. It's not a mistake, a conflict. It is something that must happen. Problem is, the mod is no more referring to the right object in the game, because the master has changed. So the right way to find the problem with the stool is probably from mesh to use this command. You check, for instance, MCA. I don't remember if I have this mode, but probably yes. Let me check. MCA something, I think. Oh, here it is. For instance, I have this MCA TR add-on, which I updated to the version of Timer Rebuild, the latest version. What it means is, it is adding these people sitting over these stools, the new stools with no collision. What happens is, when this Tamriel mainland is updated, references to those new stools do not work anymore. You can fix this, but you have to use this for, let me check, updaters options by mesh. And to be able to use this, you must have the old copy of the master and the new one. You have to have both with different names. So it is something that seems complicated until you are used to it. And I wrote articles about this, and also did I think a couple of videos about this step-by-step procedure, how to do this from mesh, and you can find them, I think, in this series of they must be some recent videos, I think. And this is the way to fix things. But to just check if you already have a version that is not working, well, I suggest you do a copy of the mod with, for instance, the file, duplicate, and make a copy of the mod, so you can work on that one without fear to to change things that you can't go back. But then when you have a copy, MCA, oh, here it is. You can work on the copy and do what you want because it's an exact copy. You try this command, which is called repair references. And if this command finds that there are errors and missing references, it means that very probably the mod is not working well anymore with this new version of your master. And typically with this kind of plugin, it means that the tools will work no more because they still will be the old standard tools with collision enable and not the new ones. So the only way to fix this is to have the two versions of the masters and the original mod from MCA, and then use the updaters procedure. Or you can fix things in the construction set. It is not as fast and automatic, but it is often the only way, because for instance, I remember when I updated the mod to be compatible with the latest version of Time Rebuild, I applied the mash updaters procedure to it, but still there were some tools that were not working correctly, so I had to fix them from the construction set. So this is one of the examples of a hard to fix mod when this happens, but it's not something really that you can detect from this plugin conflict detector, because changes to the cells are really meant to be. They are not an error or something that can be removed. Those tools must be replaced for the mod to work as intended. Okay, so I think I will just do this step, deleting this information, and then stop here because video is already long, but very interesting discussion. So what I'm going to do is select the mod I want to fix as usual. I will also load an important little plugin which is called Game Settings Vaccine. I don't know how to say it correctly, to spell it correctly, but it's easy to find and to remember, because this is helping when you have a mod which is depending only on Morrowind, to avoid problems with dirty game settings. Or you can just load all the masters, the standard Bethesda master. It's the same thing, and you still avoid generating dirty game settings. So we can also do this way. It's the same thing because everybody is using these masters anyway, so I think nowadays it's not a problem anymore. But what we want to do is fix this one. So when my masters are loaded, I will select this one, and instead of clicking OK like usual, I will set this one as active file and go to this details button, because this will open the details about the mod I have set as active mode. And from here we have a similar grid as the one we can see in our conflict detector, and we can sort by the kind of record we have. to find things more easily. But in this case, what I want to do is fix these deleted things that I want deleted no more. And so I click the deleted column, and I have all of them showing me. So, for instance, I have this dialog option deleted. For what reason? And all these comments which I don't think I need to change, because these are standard dialog options that really I don't think have purpose for the mod and can cause problems with other things. Why are these things here? Why the modder did this thing? Why did he delete it? It's hard to answer to such questions. I think most the reason may be that modder developed the mod probably before Tribuna and Blood Moon expansions had been released, so certain things, certain dialogue things were looking different. Anyway, we are using both the standard Bethesda expansions, and so we want these things not to be changed. So what I'm going to do is do these powerful things from this file details window. I can, for each of these single records, tell the construction set to completely discard these changes, and I can do this from this ignore column. I can select all the things I want to change and set them to be ignored, pressing the space, I think, or no, sorry, not the space, the cancel key, the delete key on the keyboard, and mark them as ignored. And yes, it makes sense. I'm sure about this because I recently fixed the mod to be compatible with latest Time Rebuilt masters, and this is a typical problem with this animation mod replacing sitting people. They must replace the collision in the stool, remove the collision from the stool, because if they don't do it, the NPC will sort of float above the standard stool. Well, if Rebirth is in ESM format, is a master for the other plugins, surely it is causing similar problems to mods having Rebirth as master. I'm no practice with Rebirth because it's conflicting with too many other mods I'm using, but in short, if you have a mod which is using a master and your mod is touching some references in the game, when the master change you will have problem, because your references are not pointing to the correct part of the master, and so it doesn't work well anymore. You can have strange things, you can have deleted things when they should not deleted, and things you have moved or deleted that are no more deleted are doubled, duplicated, and so on. So when mash has been done, it has been done also to solve this problem, but you have to do the proper thing. I have done a couple of videos specifically for a step-by-step example of how to do it, and I think you can find them. They should be not very old, I think. Not more than a year ago, or even more recently. And I think they are on their Morrowind modding playlist in my. Let me check for them, because I think that's something that's really something that people may want to use often. You look here on the abot modding playlist. You should have a couple of welcome back. Couple of adventures of Shiaryu and her friends, and examples on how to fix things, but also to this one probably. Okay, this will be a small video about fixing one thing in script. I don't remember exactly. Oh, here it is probably. More changes to ref. So look for part of the video where you see mesh used, and there I should also showing how to use the replacer. I will stop here because it's weird to hear my voice playing on the video, but I try to show it in video. A couple of this video, or you can look in my site where I wrote a couple of articles with a couple of pictures to showing the same thing. Maybe it's easier to read than to look at all the video, but should be there somewhere. Okay, so let me finish this thing because I need to do something. So I have a questions here with my construction set asking me if I really want to mark these things to be ignored, and I say yes, and you can see now they are marked with this E, and what does it mean is next time the construction set will load the mod, it will just skip completely these changes. And let's try it. I will close the window and then press the OK button and load the mod. I will no changes for now, but I want to load it. Just load it. And then I will save the mod and exit the construction set to verify if things have changed, like we just clean again the mod to be sure, which is something always good to do because it's fast and it always works the same way. So first I will clean the mod with my task-free command tool, and then I will should be nearly done. Yes, and then I will do the same things with this tool, because each time you save from the construction set you will have some small things added that are not needed. But now the mod should be clean again, but with the difference that this time those deleted lines should be no more there. Let's see. Here is the mod. So I will do the same things, look at the details of the mod, but as you can see, that information is no more deleted. So we have just cleaned the mod from those changes, those deleting of things that we want to keep. And to verify these things, I will just remove the mod from the load list here to refresh the plugin conflict detector and load it again. And restart the check. And it should show you that those deleted conflicts are no more. So we have just cleaned the mod from that things. And then we can go on with other problems. But as I said at the starting of this sort of tutorial, it's a long walk to clean and to move the mod. So probably I will go on with this another time because time to go. But I hope that there's been something interesting, at least to discover some things that tools and even the construction set can do. So see you probably in a short while.